ownership. A life insurance policy typically involves two parties, the owner and the insurance company. The owner controls the policy and pays the premium. In this standard arrangement, the owner and the insured are the same person. However, in some cases, the insured and policy owner are different. This is known as third-party ownership. For third-party ownership to be valid, there must be an insurable interest between the applicant and the proposed insured when a life insurance policy is first issued. However, after the policy is issued, the need for insurable interest is no longer required, which means there are no restrictions on a policy owner setting up a third-party ownership arrangement by transferring ownership to another party. Key point: in third-party ownership situations, the insured, who is not the owner, has no rights in the policy. All rights in the policy are held by the policy owner, including the right to name the beneficiary. Third-party ownership in the personal insurance market. Estate planning. In the personal insurance market, a common reason for third-party ownership of a life insurance policy is to prevent the policy's death benefit from being included in the insured's estate. This is more fully explained in the taxation of life insurance lesson. When a third-party arrangement is used for estate planning purposes, the owner of the life insurance policy is usually an irrevocable life insurance trust, ILIT, created by the insured or an adult child of the insured. As long as the insured's estate is not the policy beneficiary, death benefits under a third-party arrangement are not included in the insured's gross estate and are not subject to federal estate taxes. Bring back rule. If an existing policy is transferred to a third-party owner after it is issued, it is important to do so at least 3 years before the insured's death. If the insured dies within 3 years after the transfer, then the policy death benefits are included in the insured's estate for tax purposes. This is called the bring back rule. Stranger or investor-owned life insurance, STOLI and ILI. Third-party ownership of life insurance has made it possible for a questionable investment practice to emerge, stranger-owned life insurance, or STOLI. Also known as investor-owned life insurance, or ILI, it is an arrangement in which an investor or investor group convinces a consumer to purchase an insurance policy on his or her life in exchange for an eventual lump sum payment when the policy is transferred to the investor. The investor pays for the policy while the insured owns it, usually through the policy's 2-year contestable period. At the end of this period, the policy owner assigns the policy to the investor under a life settlement agreement. The investor pays the insured a lump sum payment and names itself as the new beneficiary. The lump sum payment is generally more than the cash value and less than the policy face amount. The investor pays the future premiums needed to keep the policy active while the insured is alive. Since the STOLI investor has no interest in the continued life and well-being of the insured, and in fact profits only by the death of the insured, many state insurance regulators deem STOLI agreements to be nothing more than a wager on someone's life. Accordingly, it is broadly discouraged in most jurisdictions, and illegal in some states. Third-party ownership in the business insurance market. Third-party ownership of life insurance policies is far more common in the business market than in the personal market. Life insurance used to meet business insurance needs is normally owned by the business rather than the insured executive or employee. A typical business use of life insurance is known as key person, or key employee life insurance. In this scenario, the business applies for, owns, and is the beneficiary of the policy covering the life of a key employee. Upon the insured employee's death, the business receives the policy's death benefit. This benefit is intended to compensate the business for the untimely loss of its key employee. For your review: Standard two-party life insurance policy. Policy owner and insured are the same person. Third-party life insurance arrangement. Policy owner and insured are two different people. There must be an insurable interest between the applicant and the proposed insured for third-party ownership to be valid when a life insurance policy is issued. However, after a policy is issued, a third-party ownership arrangement can be set up by transferring ownership to another party, without regard for insurable interest. A primary reason for third-party ownership of a life insurance policy in the personal insurance market is to prevent the policy's death benefit from being included in the insured's federal gross estate. Life insurance used to meet business insurance needs is normally owned by the business rather than the insured. Stoli and Eiley arrangements are deemed by many regulators to be little more than wagering on someone's life and are illegal in many states.
Here's the key point to grasp in this lesson. As long as there is an insurable interest between the owner and the insured in a life insurance policy, then someone other than the insured can be the owner. Now, that led to a use for life insurance called stranger-originated life insurance, or STOLI. Now, frankly, STOLI is a socially distasteful use for life insurance that deserves a closer look. First, let's understand what stranger-originated life insurance is. In its simplest terms, STOLI is life insurance purchased on another person by a complete stranger. Now, that seems to violate the rule for insurable interest, and indeed it does, but this is how they get around it. In a STOLI transaction, strangers, and I'm paraphrasing, effectively approach somebody and invite them to buy a life insurance policy. There is the promise of some money to be made in that transaction, and so the stranger applicant buys a life insurance policy, sells it to the investor who's buying that policy, and walks away with some cash. Now you've got a stranger who owns a life insurance policy on a person for which there is no insurable interest, which on the surface does not violate the insurable interest rules of life insurance. Because remember, with life insurance, once a policy is issued, there is no concern for insurable interest. But there's something wrong about what I was just describing. And regulators and many consumer organizations felt the same way. Today, stranger-oriented life insurance, or STOLI, is at best frowned upon in our society, and in fact, in a number of states, it is illegal. You want to make sure you understand the STOLI rules in your state before you come near dealing with them. And in fact, the best advice is to do the right thing and steer clear of stranger-oriented life insurance.
Okay, so here is our quiz. Robert is purchasing a life insurance policy in which he is the insured. If he wants to keep the policy proceeds out of his estate for tax purposes, all the following arrangements would help him meet that goal. Transfer to a third party before his death. Designate a reversible life insurance trust to be the owner and beneficiary of the policy. Designate an adult son to be the owner and allow him to designate a beneficiary. All the following arrangements would help him accept designate a reversible life insurance trust to be the owner and Robert's estate to be the policy beneficiary. I'm going to say this one because it doesn't make any sense. For a third-party life insurance policy to be valid, insurable interest must be between the policy owner and the insured when the policy is issued. I'm guessing. All the following regarding stranger-owned life insurance, STOLI, are correct except STOLI is an arrangement. The insurer retains the right to designate the policy's benefits. I don't think IOLA are the same thing. I can't remember. Alright, I'm going to stick with that. All the following statements about key person life insurance are correct, except life insurance used as a key person life is normally owned by the business. This is the one that is incorrect, by the way, because it's kind of confusing the way we're reading this. All the following about a key person life insurance are correct, except which one is not correct. The business applies away from the key employee. The employee's surviving family receives the policy's death benefit. Life insurance used as a key person is normally owned by the business rather than the insured. business upon beneficiary of the policy covering the life of a key employee. Alright, I'm going to say this one. I'm not too sure about this one. Nope, I didn't do very good on this lesson, did I? I only got one right. Okay, let's see. Alright, so all the following arrangements would help him meet his tax goals except designating an irreversible life insurance trust to be the owner of Robert's estate to be the policy beneficiary. As long as the insured is not the owner and the insured estate is not the beneficiary, policy proceeds will not be included in the insured's estate. So the key thing here is to make sure irrevocable life insurance to be the owner. Irrevocable life insurance trust. So the way he could do this is to put his money in a trust that would eventually go to whoever he has listed as his beneficiaries. And that would be the policy beneficiary, and that's how he could get around the tax issues. Very interesting. I'm always looking for ways to get around tax stuff. Alright, so a third-party life insurance policy to be valid, the policy needs to be issued. So I got that one right. Yay. Okay. Okay, so Ioli and Stoli are both the same thing. Alright, I wasn't sure. Alright, all of these are regarding Stoli are correct except the insurer retains the right to designate the policy's beneficiary. Okay, that's interesting. I guess because the stranger is the one that's going to be owning it, right? Alright, so question 4. Key person life insurance are correct except which one? Upon the person's insured's death, employee's death, the employee's surviving family receives the policy's death benefit. So the surviving family of the employee does not receive the death benefit. And this is true regarding key person life insurance. That was super confusing. The insured employee's death, whoever the employee is, their family does not receive any of the death benefits. Policy's death benefits. Okay. Made it through another lesson. The next one is producer responsibilities. We just finished third-party policy ownership. So if you need to go back and review it, this is what you're going to look for in the title. Thanks, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel.